we've been taught as a society that that is really not okay. We are not allowed to scream and yell when we're angry. No one wants to see us being rageful. And so it's really been kind of just pushed down, and yet it doesn't go away. It just forms this pool within us that just simmers and boils, and there's moments where it boils over and then it's just ugly rage.
Welcome to Collective Guidance with your host, Charla Goodnight. I am so grateful to have you guys here today, and I am in immense gratitude to have this amazing woman, Beth Brown Ronella, a modern medicine woman, mentor, and priestess, joining me today. Beth has devoted more than 30 years to healing arts, guiding others into deeper truth, empowerment, and energetic freedom. Her work bridges the seen and unseen, combining multidimensional energy healing with grounded mentorship to help clients remember who they are at the core. Working on the quantum level, which I love the quantum level, Beth supports profound release, clearing density, dissolving fear, and activating the higher frequencies that allow you, that's right, you, to evolve into a more expanded and joyful way of living. Her sessions, which I have had before, create a space where transformation becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Clients often describe their work with Beth as life-changing, illuminating, and liberating, a return to lightness and joy as daily companions. As an initiated priestess of the Rose lineage and the priestess of Isis traditions, Beth also leads sacred trainings designed to awaken self-love, embodied wisdom, and living remembrance of the truth of love within. Her teachings are deep, devotional, and transformative, nurturing both the spiritual seeker and the sovereign leader rising within. Beth's mission is simple and profound: to help you illuminate your path, embody your highest essence, and step fully into the beauty of your soul. Thank you so much, Beth, for being here. Let's dive in. For those that are not aware of what a priestess is, what is a priestess?
So a priestess in our most basic form is a woman who's answered the call that says there's more to life. There's more to living. There's more to being. And it's about really taking the mundane and making it sacred. So as a priestess, when I'm washing dishes, I'm grateful for the food that I'm washing off of the plates. When I'm doing laundry, I'm grateful for the family that I'm washing the clothes for. It's about kind of taking tasks and making them elevated. It's about getting to know who you are at your essence, at your truth. And we do that by unwinding so much of what we've been taught, what society tells us we should be, what past life energies we carry with us, and so many aspects just kind of working kind of against us in a way, to make us feel like we should be this way or we ought to be this way. And bringing priestessing into your life really kind of cuts away that stuff and says, but who are you really? But if you didn't have someone telling you that only nice girls succeed, would you be a nice girl, or would you just be who you are, right? Which maybe sometimes is salty, maybe sometimes is angry. So many times we've been really trained that our anger is really not acceptable. Like, you shouldn't be angry about that. You should deal with it. And it's like, the only way we're taught to deal with it is to shut up. And that's just no longer an option.
It's funny that you say anger, because you helped me with some rage.
Oh,
And Do you remember that?
You know,
When we
it's
did
funny with sessions, it's like we have a somewhat when you're a practitioner, you get this amnesia. If you talk
yeah.
about it, I may remember.
Yeah.
So go
So this is it's going a little bit out, but you talked about anger and we talked about rage together. And I said, how do I get rid of this like rage? And you said, why do you want to get rid of your rage? It's really about transforming your rage. Can you talk about rage and women?
Sure. Rage in priestess circles is considered a sacred. We call it sacred rage. So when we talk about our emotions, we have to think that our emotions are a truth. They're like little flags that say, "Oh, truth." Like when you feel something, when you feel triggered or you feel happiness, that's an authentic response to something that makes you happy, right? But with rage, we've been taught as a society that that is really not okay. We are not allowed to scream and yell when we're angry. No one wants to see us being rageful. And so it's really been kind of just pushed down and yet it doesn't go away. It just forms this pool within us that just simmers and boils and there's moments where it boils over and then it's just ugly rage. But sacred rage really is almost like it's not I guess we could kind of push it into the wound category, but it comes about when we're being diminished, when we're being denied, when someone is trying to say, be this but not who you are, act like this but not who you really are, do things that you don't want to do and don't be complaining about it. Don't complain, don't voice your truth, your opinion, your if when you see someone who does not as good a job as you get ahead in the business, I don't know about you, but that's going to piss me off. And if I don't have a way to say, hey, what's going on? Why did he get that job when I'm more qualified? That becomes an internal push down because it's like, I've got to be professional. I can't unleash how I'm feeling. Right. And so it's like we've been muzzled for centuries. And, we've got two different things to look at. One, the collective, which is all women.
Mm.
And then we've got the personal. So the personal is how many times were you blamed for something as a kid and your siblings pointed the finger at you when really they did it. And yet mom and dad didn't want to hear you explain, but wait, it wasn't me. And so, we have all these opportunities to get pissed off and we just, it's like muzzle, can't speak. So what I find is that the collective of us has this rage at the misogyny, the patriarchy, the way women have been patted on the heads and told to just take what we can take, that we haven't been studied by the medical community. I mean, vaccines have not been tested on women until like something like 1993 or some crazy, you mean they just thought, oh, you're just like little men. We'll just give you less of a dose. Like, wait, our systems are different. So we have so many things why we should be rageful. So getting back to what is it? So rage is that accumulation of denial.
Mm.
Whether you're denying yourself or somebody is denying you to be who you are. When we go out in the world, it gets worse. It's men saying to you, oh, you want it. You want me to flirt with you. You want this, you want that. And you're just like, no. And when they don't take no for an answer, obviously sometimes it's our rage. So this is why I love our rage. So rage is there. We've all earned the rage that we own. And then when it's, let's say somebody is harassing you, that rage, if you unleash it, will probably save you. Right? So if you're just like, hey, no, man, leave me alone. I don't know. Leave me alone. Go away. Stop. But when you turn and you just go, leave me the fuck alone.
They get the message.
I'm thinking he's backing
They get
off.
the message.
Right? So
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm doing healing work with people, I'm like, let it out. And they're like, I'm so mad at my dad. He abandoned me. And I'm like, no, that's just you talking. And they're like, but what are you talking? I'm like, how pissed are you that he missed every birthday? How pissed are you that he didn't walk you down the aisle? How pissed are you that he walked away as if you had nothing, you mattered nothing? And then they're like, oh, and I'm saying, now let it out. And then it's like,
Just got
oh,
chills.
and then it comes out, and it's like freaking glorious. It's like, whoa. And it's like, it's almost like when cartoons, the character like vomits stuff out, but it's like all these, I always see words like abandonment, shame, guilt, rejection, and all these things. And that's what she's getting rid of. All the time she felt rejected. All the time she felt abandoned.
Yeah.
And when you release and unleash, girl, it's kind of orgasmic in a different way.
Yeah. And so going through your priestess training has taught you how to really uncover all of that stuff for clients.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, priestessing helped with that. But my work has been getting ramped up. I do daily channels for probably 25 years. I've sat in front of, used to be paper and pencil or pen. And then they said, you got to use a computer. So then I got a computer. Then I tippity tap on the computer and stuff. And I can't tell you how many years. I think my computer right now has basically a daily channel from 2017. So every day since 2017 has something that Spirit has talked to me about. And
because you are an intuitive and a psychic.
Yeah.
Yes. And
intuitive
how long
and psychic are kind of the same thing. It's just some people like one word, some people like the other.
Okay.
I'm always teaching people, claim it. Claim whatever you are. I don't care. Who cares what anyone thinks? Claim it.
When did you first notice that you were intuitive psychic?
Well, I had done a session with a woman in a modality called soul memory discovery. And I pretty much cried through the 2-hour session because everything she hit was, you're so afraid. There's so much fear. And I'm like, I know there's so much fear. And things I didn't even know existed within me. And then I took the course. I wanted to learn how to do that. And it was amazing training. I don't practice it anymore because I feel like as a system, it got corrupted about 10 years ago, but the teaching was excellent. And it made me do 1,000-mile walk around someone's problem. So I feel like I'm a psychic investigator or a psychic detective. So when someone says, I've been depressed, I can't seem to get rid of it, I've had medication, I've done this, I've done that, and I don't know what to do. And so then I'm like, oh, give me more. And so then my goal is to get to the point of origination where something began, right? So if you're just looking at the surface, you can get to feel good, but I want to get to solved. I want to solve the problem so that it's no longer an issue, right? It's like if you cut the head off the snake, then the snake dies. But if you just hold on to the snake and you just tickle its belly, it's still wrapped all around you, squeezing tighter and tighter. So I don't even know what age I was. I was probably 18 when I started reading Ruth Montgomery books and Edgar Casey books. And so I was like, this is possible. Edgar Casey was called the sleeping prophet, and he would put a book under his pillow. And in the morning, he would have absorbed all of the information in that textbook. So he never had to study. And he had total recall. And I'm like, if that's possible, I want to do that. Now, my gifts are nothing like that, but those were his uniquely. But, in my 20s is when I'm now 63. So in my 20s is when I really started to look into and try and see what I could do. But, the veils were very different 40 years ago. It was, you had to go sit on a mountaintop for 30 years and contemplate your navel is the way it used to be discussed before you would have these profound experiences that people are going today. I woke up and I had illuminated. I'm awake. I've had my awakening. And before it was just so subtle. It just kind of little bit by little bit, things just kind of, became apparent. So when people say, I know exactly when I had my Kundalini awakening, I'm always like, I got no idea when mine happened. Just don't know. And for some people, it's like the beginning of this next stage. So it's very profound for them. Me, it's all, I've always just kind of been in this arena.
Yeah. If someone is listening right now and they want to have a closer connection to source, maybe increase their intuition, being that you have been in this for 40 plus years in your exploratory phase and now into mastery, what kind of guidance would you give them?
It's like every teacher of this will tell you start with meditation. Because what people are not taught is your body is a map of your emotional self. Okay? It's also full of portals. Your womb is a portal space to the great divine mother. Your heart is a portal space to the truth of yourself. So when we start meditating, it's like we take off all the layers of today's society. I'm like, my to-do list and I have to get this done. And what do the kids need? And what does my husband need? And where do I need to go? And what's going on in my world? All of that goes away when you close your eyes and you begin to focus on your breath. And everybody says this and everybody gets, oh, I don't like that. But it is the freedom that when you get past this idea of meditation is hard, it's really the way I lead it is I do guided meditations for people. If I can say, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a beach and you're looking out over the water, I'm pretty sure most people can have that image. They can imagine that they're standing on the beach. And then when I say off in the distance is a shadow moving and it's got a little bit of a rise in the water, but you can't see what's under the water and it's coming closer and closer and it's coming to you. And then what emerges is a gigantic turtle. And then the instruction is step on its back, sit on its back, climb on board. And you just do it in this meditation. Now, everything goes against what we know in the physical world. Like there's no way a turtle's going to drive up to the beach and pick me up for a ride. But in meditation, they can. I can introduce you to Jesus in meditation. I can take you to the little chapel of roses in the forest and meet Mary Magdalene. And well, I'm not actually there. I take you to meet Mother Mary. She's got a little chapel in the woods covered in roses. And when she comes, she always ends the same way, where she takes your face in her hands and she tells you something special about you. Now, I don't speak in that time. I get them to that point, and then I let Mary speak to the person. Because I can't speak for her, but she can speak to you. And people would be like, never in a million years did I ever think I would be sitting with Mother Mary holding my face and giving me so much love. And I mean, usually at that point in the room, you hear, oh, oh, because it's so touching. So I can take you inside your body and we can heal things through meditation. I can take you to the sun. We can go to God. We can go anywhere we want to go. And meditation, I can take you to different planes of existence, right? At the 7th plane, we're now at theta state. And in theta, we get to command change. So let's say you have sinus issues constantly. You go to theta state and you command that no longer will you accept sinus issues, that whatever's going on needs to heal.
What is theta state for people that don't know? And what do you mean about dimensions for people that don't know? And there's so many other questions that I want to ask, but those right there, I feel like is really, really important for people to understand the different stages. What do you mean by that?
So we live in the 3rd dimension, 3D. We can touch, feel, smell. We've got all our senses. That's 3D. We've also got 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, all up to 12D and beyond. Okay? We as humans generally will only get to be about to 5th dimension. And 5th dimension is only available once you've really cleared off all of the garbage bags of crapola that you bring throughout your life. All of the old hurts, all of the old vengeful feelings, all of this stuff that has you kind of looped in certain belief systems and whatnot, right? And in 5D is where you find peace. You're not bothered by stuff. You're not, you're not upset about somebody's, I don't know, lie, for example. Someone tells you a lie. You're not, because you can look at that and you know with certainty, well, that's your problem. That's your stuff. That's not a me thing. That's a you thing. And when you're navigating life kind of with that 5D expression going on in you, you just find that you're just not bothered by all of the stuff going on, right? Like there's noises from lawn guys across the street. I'm not bothered because I know you can hear me. But
yeah, I have lawn guys too, and I'm not bothered.
it's like, okay.
They were out there. So I'm in Boise, and there's so many leaves, and they're out there collecting the leaves too. The city is, and I'm not. Right before we were talking, I was like, I'm not bothered. It's all good.
Yeah. And that's what doing the work is going to help you get to. So when we also talk about planes of existence, and without a chart, I can't tell you all of them, but when you get to the 7th plane of existence, it's really more of a creative space. When people talk about manifesting, right? When you're manifesting 3D, it's like hit or miss, and really it just kind of comes down to if you're meant to have it, experience it, feel it, do it, be it, then it'll happen. You can't miss what's meant for you. However, when you get up to the 7th, so for example, I don't see energy, but I really want to. Because when I'm working on people, I'm going on what I'm being told through my clairaudience. I'm being my clairsentience, which is clear hearing and clear feeling. So I have a sense that I'm finished clearing the energy, right? But I want to be able to see it gone. I want to see that space I'm working on has not even a molecule of whatever I'm clearing. So I could probably, and this may be what I do after we're finished, is go up to that 7th plane. And there's a way to get there. There's a little map that gets you there. Go down, da-da, da-da, da-da. It's more than what this podcast is really going to let us have time for. But when you get there, then I can go in and I can say, okay, God, I demand that I see energy. So when I'm healing, I will feel like a better healer. It's not going to change my healing. I already am a great healer, but it's going to change me feeling like a good healer because I'll have the visual kind of, I won't have any questions like, did I get it all? And I'm like, I'll do a little extra, just make sure I got it all. I want to see that I've got it all. So that's what the 7th plane of existence can bring you. And there's a modality called theta healing, and that, will teach you how to do it. You don't have to take a course. As a book, it explains everything, how to get there, what it means, what you could do. And there's a script. It's actually it's a really lovely way for people to do self-healing.
Mm.
And it's really good for people that are healers and like to, learn how to help others through that. It's not gate kept in that way.
Right. And it doesn't require a course or certification.
No.
Yeah.
And people, you might like to have the course, but honestly, I've read the book and I feel like she gives you everything that you might need to be able to just go for it.
So you talked about Mary Magdalene, and there is so much talk about Mary Magdalene in the spiritual community with women. Why is that? Like, for those that don't know, what is Mary Magdalene here to teach us?
Okay. So we have to back it up just a wee bit. So we are in what's called the ascension process. And the ascension process is a way for the earth to move herself from 3D into 5D.
Mm.
So
5D is what again, real fast?
Peace, ease, grace, comfort. We're not in competition in 5D. We are in cooperation, right? If you win, I win. It's less you versus me and more we are one. Okay? And so one of the ways that we often sign in or sign off in priestess circles is, I am you, you are me, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. And this is how we stop that competitive BS that women love to kind of, well, her hair's prettier. I'm going to dye my hair that color. Or, oh, she's so much thin. And it's like, stop it already. You be you. Let that person be them. So Mary Magdalene has come through to help us navigate the ascension process. So what the ascension process basically is doing is it's like we're getting roto-rootered. Every cell in your body right now holds a memory of every single lifetime you've ever lived, every fearful experience, every joyful experience, every trauma, every death, every birth, every. It holds all of that, right? In your cells. Now, some people call that the Akashic records. It doesn't matter what you call it, but basically there's a record of your soul's lifetimes. So when we look at this, we've got the earth wanting to shift. We've got humanity going into basically pits of hell with so much distrust, mistrust, so much war and hate. And I mean, America's waking up. Go ahead.
But Beth, hasn't America always gone through these trials and tribulations?
Mm-hmm. We have reached a tipping point, though, where what's coming out is so much truth. Like, I'm not going to dwell on this, but we will touch on it, is that we've realized that there's a very small amount of people that run the world.
Mm.
There is, for some reason, a penchant of these people for wanting to take us down, to make us not healthy, to stop our progress, to slow us up,
to slow our abundance, to keep
slow
us
everything, our health.
especially certain demographics slow their abundance.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's insidious. And as far as I'm concerned, there are no conspiracy theories. There's only truth waiting to be found.
Mm.
Because for years we've been saying this in spiritual circles, and now the general populace is starting to catch on that, oh, you mean those chemtrails up in the sky actually do damage to us? What? Because what happens is it falls down onto the ground, and all of that goes into the water. It goes onto the leaves of the trees, and then when there's fires, guess what? They, for some weird reason, burn hotter than it's ever possible for that particular kind of tree to burn that hot.
Yeah.
Because it's full of chemicals, because they've fallen from the sky.
Yeah.
So, not to make this about that.
Right. To bring it back to Mary Magdalene.
That's right. So with that uncovering of so much that we have starting to have every bit of faith shaken. We're having trust shaken. Can we trust our government? Obviously not. Can we trust churches? And then we find stories about how people were abused through the church and how all of that. And we're not going to go there, because Mary Magdalene is not a religious figure. If we're really, really honest, Jesus was not a religious figure. Did he have a basis as an Essene? Abso-freaking-lutely. He did not come down here to create religion. He came to say, if you practice like I practice, you can be like me. I love myself just as I love you. I love my neighbors. Can you love your neighbors? Can you love them? Can you help them when they're in need? Can you show up for people? Can you love them even when they're not lovable? Right? So this was what they were teaching. And this is what people were like, I love this. And that's what got them followers. That's what got them people that would follow them from town to town. What people don't realize is that, first off, his name was not Jesus. That was a westernized version of Yeshua, or some people say Yeshua, but he's always introduced himself to me as Yeshua. So that is the way I have channeled a book from Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, which I'm editing. And
very exciting. Congratulations.
It's a little on the down low, but we're working on it. But the message that they taught then is the same message they're teaching now. Can you, like me, connect to God? Absolutely. Are you one with God? Yes, indeed you are. And she was his, maybe at first his equal, and eventually his wife. Because what man at that time at 30 years old was not married? Very, very few, unless they didn't see women or have opportunity to find women to marry. But she was also trained just as he was. So he was trained in Egypt, and so was she. They both studied with the Order of Melchizedek. And what they learned were things that will blow your mind. They could do the rites of the sepulcher, which means they could go into a suspended animation state through meditation, slowing down their body function to 2 or 3 heartbeats a minute, one half a breath a minute, so that they could be in this state for 3 or 4 months at a time. They would be attended to with people applying oils and water and doing things to keep their body fresh, is the way it was told. And they could bilocate. They could telepathically communicate, right? Now, we think, oh, these are science fiction things, but no, these were really parts of what they could do. But guess what? All that got squashed because, let's just go, all leaders are power mongers and greedy. Let's just be honest about that. Okay. So anybody that was in power that met up with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua was instantly worried about it because they could take over, and God forbid we don't want to lose our power.
They could teach other people how to do it.
And that's what the thing is, he taught, right? So my philosophy in my healing work has always been teach a man to fish. I always give people homework when they do sessions with me. I always help them have some way to deal with stuff. So, for example, if we pop back to the rage piece, if you have so much rage and you just don't feel safe getting it out, get a bat, go to a bed, and beat the crap out of your bed.
Oh, thank God. You told me to do that. You told me to do that. And for some reason, I do not get a wooden bat, people, because when I got a wooden bat and I started banging with it, and the bat broke in half and bonked me right in my head.
No. But I bet you felt better after that, didn't you?
I sure fucking did. I felt so much better, and I didn't take that rage out on anyone else.
That's exactly right. And that's the beauty of it. So getting back to Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, when they combined forces, they created for us. Now, when they say he died for sins, I'll never understand that. I don't believe that's why he came here. He didn't come here to die for us. He came to show us. He's the divine masculine. She's the divine feminine. When you put these forces together, you have the Hyros Gamos, which is the
what? Sorry?
It's called the Hyros Gamos. Hirosgamos. Hyros Gamos. And what that means, divine marriage. So on the outside of us, when you're in partnership with your partner, he holds his piece as the masculine and you're holding your part as the feminine, and you're not in your masculine. Like if he says, girl, I got this. I'm going to provide and I'll protect and I will support you and I will allow you to be who you are. And she says, great, I will support you and I will nurture you and I will grow this block we call a house into a home, and I will nurture and fulfill all of these things. When we're in our right frequency, right? When I'm in my divine feminine and my partner's in his divine masculine, we're in a good energy flow. Now, let's go a little bit closer. There's also within you, you have your divine side and your divine masculine and your divine feminine. Mm-hmm. So even within us, when we balance that, we are in the Hyros Gamos within ourselves. So this is also what Mary Magdalene comes to teach us, is that you don't have to be in your masculine. How many of us have become the masculinized version of ourselves? Because we've had to, right? And I've had to make choices and decisions, and I had to get the kids everywhere, and I had to do all the things. And I didn't have a chance to just be in my feminine. I had to be all of these things for everyone. So Mary Magdalene says, honey, come back to the feminine. You are perfect in your feminine ways. And so If you come across me, most of the time, I'll be wearing a dress because I love my feminine side. And it's a way for me to keep reminding myself to not be in my masculine, to be in my feminine. She teaches us that we are vital, that we are powerful, that we have a voice. And so she's come almost as this rallying cry for women of the world to say, let's kick the patriarchy to the curb a bit. Let's stand in our power. Let's reclaim the things that we have lost. And I will say, it's not a popular opinion, but I think a lot of Christian churches support women being less than they can be. You are relegated to the house, to the children, to their care. You are behind your husband. He gets to make all of the decisions. And I think that's dangerous because it sends such a message to our children that women really shouldn't be in power. But when we look at matriarchal societies, they were free of war. They were free of strife. Everybody had jobs. They knew what their job was. And when it was problematic, it was discussed. It wasn't, let's go beat the crap out of you in the alley and shut you up. It was, let's fix this. So Mary Magdalene has come to say, we need you to rise up in yourself. So it starts with us, starts with me being the most, I guess, the most aligned version of me. And then that means that I go out in the world and now I can be the most aligned partner to my partner. I can be the most aligned mother to my children and my grandson. I get to go into the world as a woman unafraid to be who I am. And that is a freedom in itself. Like when we first moved to Naples, they'd say, what do you do? And I'd be like, oh, I do psychic work. And I said it that soft little weak way because I was so afraid of offending people or being judged. Now I'm like, fuck that. I am who I am. It's like I've claimed a seat at the table. I just have. They didn't invite me, but I've claimed it.
Yeah. And we were actually just talking about this, about how it's time for women to claim a seat at the table and to stop apologizing for shit.
Yes. Yes. Don't apologize for space you take up. If you're loud and you're too much and you're too emotional, there's no two in that. You are loud. You are emotional. You are angry. You are a human woman. You're allowed all of these things. But slowly but surely over time, we were just ground down and down and down. And God bless the women who in the 50s and the 60s were not having it as housewives, right? I know that people have this weird thing about feminism. And, to me, feminism is just being accepted as a woman and not having that be something less, not taking a back seat because I'm a woman. Do I have certain expectations? Yeah, but I try to quell those because expectations are just, they just mess with you. But so Mary Magdalene has positioned herself as our leader in a way. Like she's come and said, come and be like me. Come and be who you can be and let me lead you there. She's not trying to make us religious. She's not trying to say that the church is the way, because really the way for Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and really all of us, if we like this feeling that it brings us, it's the way of love. That's it. That's all they really tried to teach is, can you love when it's a leper, right? If we go back, I'm not a biblical girl, but if we go back and, they talked about, leprosy. Can I go and hug a COVID patient? Yes. Can I hug and love on somebody who is, filthy, who is homeless, who is stinky? I might not like it, but I see that that's a human under all the rags, under the sadness, under the weight of what the world did to them. And often it's a veteran. Can I hug them? Fuck yeah. Will I be happy that I've done that? I'm going to feel so good. Because maybe I was the only person in that week that ever acknowledged them as a human.
And that saw them.
And that's what she brings us. She brings that softening where I will fight for your right to be who you are. And if that homeless guy wants to be homeless and he's okay with it, but I can go get him a coat. Okay, here's a coat, bro. Can I bring you some food too? Does no skin off my skin, but it makes me feel happy that I've been given him a little piece of my kind of humanity, which is I can love you in spite of what grosses everyone else out.
Yeah.
So she's elevating us. She's showing us, that we can be so much more than we thought ourselves to be. And really, if we look at it, it boils down to self-development, right? It's the same stuff that people like Tony Robbins have taught, Panache Desai has taught, Joe Dispenza's teaching, right? But let's be honest, those are all guys.
I know.
And
It's
what do
funny that
guys
you
talk
say that.
about?
And don't get me wrong. I love Joe Dispenza. I love
Mm-hmm.
Tony Robbins. But lately, I've really been noticing that there's minimal women. There's minimal women on the scene that have the big, big platform, and which I found very interesting. Though I love, love, love their work.
Absolutely.
And I think they're doing amazing work, but it is all men.
Well,
So,
I think that men can teach masculine much more than they can teach the feminine,
yeah.
because most men would rather die than be feminine. Because to them, that's like somehow they've lost. But I will tell you, the yummiest men on the planet are the ones that will just hug you and not let go, right? Because they just know that connection is important. And they're not trying to get, in your pants. They're just
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, let's just hug." And when you hug those kind of guys, it's like, "Oh my God, come to my house. Be part of my
Yeah,
family."
definitely. Let me feed
So
you.
we need to seek women who can teach us to be women again, and who can teach us to be leaders as women, who can teach us that being in a leadership role as a woman doesn't mean that you're being a bully. To me, Tony Robbins, when I hear him, I'm like, I couldn't handle him because he's a bully. He forces people. And you know what? Choice is really important. Force is never important. Force is when you have lost the ability to choose. So when I see that Tony forces people to make choices, that's not a choice. That's you demanding. And I struggle with that. And maybe that's because I'm so more in my feminine.
Yeah.
So even your body is split. Your left side is your feminine side.
Yeah.
Your right side is your
The
masculine side.
side.
So when you have it, that's why I'm talking about the map, the body being a map. If you're having pains on your left side, chances are it is either from a female. It could be from an argument with your mom or a friend who's a woman. It could be some kind of something else going on. But the same goes when it's set, and it helps lead us to where do I need to look to heal you.
Yeah.
So, or to, when I say that, it doesn't mean like I'm not saying, oh, I'm the healer. I know that I'm the
No,
vessel for the healing.
meaning where to heal you, meaning
Yes.
heal yourself.
Yes.
And you can get guidance from other people to assist in that healing.
100%.
I mean, I have definitely received healing energy from other people. You helped me a lot with my rage,
Aw.
but the ultimate healing comes from within.
Absolutely. 100%.
We can hold space and guide others to their healing if they are open, receiving, and available for it.
100. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. They are.
So we are here to give to each other in that
Oh my
way.
gosh. That is so true. True
Yeah.
words, truly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, with so many spiritual women, and tell me if this is yours, I call it the fever dream. It's like we all have this dream of being in a little house in the woods with a goat or some chickens, and we have our own medicines, and we grow our own food, and we have a garden, and it's like she sits in our heads. And when I say this, if I say this to a room full of women, 90% of them raise their hands. And they're like, "Oh my God, I love that. I would do that in a heartbeat if I could. Oh my God." Why? Why do we have the same shared kind of thing? Because I feel like what we're being led to is we need to simplify, right? Mary Magdalene didn't have stuff. She didn't have things. She didn't have this wonderful opportunity to have podcasts to share their message, right? They had to walk and they had to talk and then they had to show and demonstrate. And then they did the healing works, right? So they did all of that while they lived in the desert, right? I mean, the fact that we are here at this stage in this world with all of these wonderful devices that allow our voices to go everywhere we want them to go and beyond is miraculous. So this is why it's so cool to hear that so many women are hearing the call of Mary Magdalene. And you don't have to go become a priestess to be part of her world. You can simply go into meditation and you can invite her in. And, you know, she's not love and light all the time. She can be kind of like, hey, it's time for you to really think about where you're heading. Where are you going? So she's kind of motherly in that way, that she's like, hey, come on, knock it off. But she is kind of the shining example. Like if she could do that then, I can do that now.
Right. Beth, I love all of this. You have so much to give. You are literally one of my favorite teachers. I'm just going to say teachers.
That's fine.
But soul sister, I mean, you are a soul sister. If someone wants to work with you or wants to learn more about you, how can they go about doing that?
So we are reimagining my website for Goddess I Am. So
Okay.
it'll be more Beth Brown Ronella, Goddess I Am. So for now, you can find me at goddessiam.com. So GODDESSIAM.com.
I mean, what a phenomenal name. But you've had that name for a really long time because you are the goddess I am. And when you say I am, you are calling in God.
You figured it out.
Yeah. Oh, babe, I've known that since you had your store,
Yes.
So, I mean, you're just, the I am presence is everything.
100%.
And so if they want to find you, they can go to Goddess I Am and connect with you there.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else that you want to say before we bring this to a close? And just so you know, I would love to have you back on here and to even share more information. All of this was so good, so deep, and really resonated.
That is so awesome. So, I'm on socials. If you can either through my name, Beth Brown Ronella. I do TikToks under my name, Goddess Musings. And then you can find us on Facebook and also on Instagram. And yeah, just reach out and I'd be happy to mentor or work with you. The idea is if you don't know what you're looking for, it's hard to find it, right? And so, over these so many years of doing this, it's like I can pinpoint, oh, that's a past life issue, so let's go there. Oh, that's a contract you made 15 centuries ago. Let's get rid of that. Oh, this is from your lineage. Let's clear your lineage. And clearing the lineage is so great because it clears it for your kids too. Then you stop it, right? We become the breakers of things. So, loving yourself, start with meditation. Okay, so do I have it here? I don't have it right in front of me. There's a wonderful book called Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus. It's a channeled material. You will feel as if you were walking those days with them. I feel like out of all of the Mary Magdalene books, and trust me, there's a lot, I have read many of them. It is I feel like the most accurate. And it starts 500 years before he is born, because we used to be able to live much longer than we do now.
Yeah.
Because they knew things that we don't know.
Yeah.
But, thank you so much. This has just been so much fun and I love this. And it's just great to talk about all the things.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys, if you like this episode, please hit the like button. Follow us on Collective Guidance Podcast on Instagram. Give us a comment. And all of Beth's contact info will be in the show notes. So if you didn't catch how to connect with her, that will be in the show notes. Thank you so much, Beth. You are amazing. And I'm so grateful for your time and your presence and your guidance. We are sending you love, remembrance, and tons of joy. Have a phenomenal day.
You as well. Thank you so much, my love.